What have you announced today, this big initiative, which seems to be the first of its kind?
It is indeed, and we are very happy and proud about it. We announced that Pfizer will provide all the patent-protected medicines, those that are not available with cheap generics, to all low-income countries. And in addition to that, to all the low-income countries that graduated from that status 10 years ago. That's a total of 45 countries, 1.2 billion of people at cost. And not only that we will provide all the medicines that we have now, but we are making the commitment that all the future medicines, and typically we are bringing 1 to 2 new medicines that we are discovering every year, that will be included automatically in this accord.
How have you been able to make this happen? How bluntly can you afford to do it? We know developing new medicines costs an enormous amount of money and time. How have you been able to make this happen?
I think that the money was not the issue. I think it was a lot of technical and bureaucratic issues that had to be resolved with how to ensure the supply over there, the regulatory approval, we can bring the medicines to the people. And these are actually the things that worry me the most, rather than the cost that we will absorb in any case. I think the reason why we did it is already in 2019, I remember it was the first year I took over. The first week I took over, me and my new leadership team, we went in a meeting and we said we decided what will be the goals of the next 5 years. One of them was to reduce by year 2023 by 50%, cutting half, the number of people in the world that cannot afford our medicines. And now I think with this announcement, we are making this dream reality.
Many of your medicines, we know from the COVID vaccine, very effective, very welcome. The logistics around that vaccine were not straightforward because of the new technologies. We're talking about countries here that do not have advanced healthcare infrastructure. Will you get the medicines from Pfizer to the people who really need them? Because if they're in a warehouse, they don't do any good.
This is a very big issue, and in fact that issue became very visible during the pandemic. Right now there are hundreds of millions of doses of our vaccine that are offered for free, not at cost, for free, including the shipment. And those countries, they have very low vaccination rates. They don't accept any more shipments because they don't have the infrastructure to do the vaccinations, to convince the people to come to take the vaccines. For this reason, in addition to just providing the medicine at cost, we selected 5 of these 45 countries, which are Rwanda, Uganda, Ghana, Malawi, and Senegal, that we already signed letters with these governments that we are going not only to provide the medicines, but work on the ground, so to help identify the blockages, the issues. Because one thing it is to have a breast cancer medicine for a woman, but the other thing is that you need to diagnose that this woman has breast cancer. And one thing is that you are avoiding to make diagnosis because you don't have medicines, but now you do have. So we need to organize this part as well.
The pandemic, do you think it is, so much of this flows from your learnings of the pandemic, do you think the pandemic has it's reminded the world of the power of medicine, the power of science? Has it reminded your industry of its responsibility to the whole world, rather than just those rich countries that are lucky enough to be able to afford great medicines?
I think both are true to a very high degree. I think the world realized the value that the vibrant life sciences sector can bring to society. And the life sciences sector is composed by the private, but also the academia. As we saw the example AstraZeneca, Oxford, for example. As we saw other examples. Us with BioNTech, for example, that was with a biotech company. And, but also reminded of us when we have these weapons in these tools, we must find ways that they reach all, and not only those that they can afford them.
Can I just quickly ask you about COVID? You may well have said this publicly. What are your projections for vaccine production, for maintaining control on the pandemic, and also the prospect of new variants and the requirement to develop the vaccine?
I have no concerns on manufacturing capacity. We have built manufacturing capacity that covers the needs of the entire world easily right now. And we have perfected our manufacturing processes. Now, clearly we are watching the variants that are emerging. And we see that some of them, they are smarter than others and they can evade to somehow the protection of our vaccines. That's why we are working on updated versions of those vaccines that will cover those. Right now, we have most of the data in-house, very few remain to be collected, and then we will present to regulators like the UK regulator, the European, the American regulator, all this information, so upgraded and better vaccines in the future.
And do you have any idea how many years we will be administering COVID vaccines? Do you have a horizon on this?
I don't have a crystal ball, but there are a lot of variants that can affect this outcome. But I think the virus will remain among us. And I think we will have the tools to go back to normal life. So I don't think that because the variants exist, we have to leave restrictions, to impose restrictions on our lives. But people will need to get vaccinated. And then, of course, there are treatments. The big difference between this year and last year is that last year we didn't have that many treatments. And if we had, were only for people that were really in the hospital. Now we have treatments that you can take it and don't go to the hospitals. No one should die from COVID nowadays.
Can you believe it? 3 short years from Chinese flu, from the pandemic to this, so quickly. Can you believe it? I mean, you're a man in this industry.
You know, so many things happened and I was so much in the center of what was happening, I can't believe a lot of things.
Okay. I may ask you one more, maybe slightly parochial question. In the UK, there is some worry around monkeypox. I don't know whether smallpox is a vaccine that Pfizer has, and what you would have any observations on the outbreaks we are seeing in Europe and America. It's causing some concern.
Clearly, like everyone, we were alerted when we see the rise of some cases. We didn't have any before, and suddenly we do have. I'm not that worried right now, but that doesn't mean that we just relax. We are watching and monitoring very carefully. Looks like this is a situation that is not that transmissible, so very difficult to become a pandemic. And also looks like there are already medicine vaccines that can work. Now, we can debate if they can work pretty well or if we need new generations. And this is what exactly we are doing right now, to see if there is a need so that we can intervene or not.
So we're staying calm.
We're staying calm and monitor. I think right now the real problem is really COVID.
Absolutely. Not now, Monkeypox. Albert, thank you very much.